What's up, folks? Hope you're doing well. I'm over here in my office on a day off, trying to get organized for the new year and for the week that's coming up. I want to take a little bit of time to share some things that I do to get ready for coming back to work and getting ready for this spring semester. Um, you know, um, I know we talk a lot about balance, and we talk a lot about sustainability and not being workaholics, and not coming back to the office. Truthfully, I've been a lot better at that. I used to really struggle with this, and work all the time, be at the school all the time. And, really, I haven't really done much work over the winter break, but I needed to come in to just kind of get my space cleared out and just get my mind right. And I just want to share a little bit of some of the things that I do to get ready for the new year. Number one, the first thing, I can't really get anything done if my space is not all the way cleaned up, organized, and just looking good. So I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna throw out old papers. I'm gonna file things away. I'm gonna get some wipes and some Lysol spray and some air freshener and just get my space looking cool. Get rid of as much clutter as I can, because for me, if my space is not clear, my mind cannot be clear, and I'm just kind of a neat person that I kind of can't even focus if things are a little bit messy. Number two, something I started doing about a year ago, and truthfully, I fell off this last spring or last fall of 2019, is I used to look at my goals and my responsibilities just for me as the principal, separate from the other administrators at our school. And I look at my list of responsibilities and I think, what am I doing on a daily or weekly basis to actually make progress towards those goals? I don't know where I picked this up, but I started making this weekly schedule, right? Thinking about what are the things that I need to do multiple times a week, or at least weekly, or at least monthly, to make sure that I'm making progress. For example, I have 2 assistant principals at my school, and to make sure that we're connected and I can support them and coach them in their leadership, support them with their dilemmas, and be a thought partner with what they're going through, we have a weekly meeting. We used to, not so much in the last couple of months, and that's something I'm trying to bring back in 2020. That means that we sit down once a week, 30 minutes to an hour, and talk about a whole host of things, right? That might be what's coming up for them. They may be planning a meeting, either a team meeting or a whole staff meeting or a chunk of a meeting. And how can we partner in that, and how can I be a thought partner in supporting them to do that? We might be looking at some data. We might be visiting a classroom together and talking about what we see, what feedback might we give that teacher, and how can we get calibrated and on the same page about pushing for success and pushing to high expectations and deeper learning and rigorous and culturally responsive teaching for our students. All right, so that's one type of a meeting. There's also a couple teams that I support. I specifically support the 7th grade team at my school, and I specifically support our PE department and our electives department. So what I realize is that, of course, if there's a fire or a dilemma or a huge crisis, we're going to connect, and I'm going to connect with that team and people on that team. But what I realize is that if I can at least check in with a leader or a member of that team monthly, in addition to leading to attending the meetings that they're leading, that allows me to be more plugged in and also more supportive. So now I scheduled once a month, I'm checking in with a lead member from each of those teams. In addition to that, there's teachers that I'm coaching, there's teachers that I'm evaluating, and then there's also just teachers and staff throughout the building. So now I have my schedule, my weekly schedule set up so that I have reoccurring blocks of time, the biggest chunks and the biggest blocks being instructional blocks, being in the classroom, being with teachers, talking to them, debriefing afterwards. So now I have these huge chunks, right? Almost 50% of the time that I have at the school is chunked out, just focused on instruction, just focused on being in a classroom and debriefing with teachers. Then for me, I also have my Wednesdays now set up like I had in the past, where all my meetings are going to happen. So specifically, I have these team meetings that I need to attend. I may have leadership meetings that I have. I'm meeting with the leader of that team. There's a couple of different groups I interface with, our after school program, our meditation program. All those things are now scheduled into my Wednesdays on reoccurring loops on my calendar, so that way I don't forget about it. It doesn't fall through the cracks. Now, the reason I'm going into so much detail into this is because this actually holds me accountable and keeps me honest, so that way I don't schedule all these other things when I really should be in classrooms. And I don't forget to interface with, connect, and support a team or a team member or a team lead after too much time has went past, and maybe it's been a month or 2 months or 3 months and I haven't really plugged in a while. So all those things really help me to really get established. Another thing I did today just to get ready for the week is I'm looking at my calendar 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks ahead to make sure that I know what's coming. I kind of see what's coming up, and I think what needs to be planned. I had this idea of shadowing a student in the fall, but it didn't really happen. So I put that on my calendar, plugged it out on a Monday. I don't want to do anything else. I'm just shadowing a student and spending all day trying to figure out what the experience like a student truly is from a student's eyes, from a student's position, actually in a student's seat. So I threw that on my calendar. Trying to see what other special events. We got some visitors coming in about 2 weeks later. We don't really have any big events, but I would be looking for those as well. Another thing that I did with my time was I also have a reoccurring weekly meeting with my administrative team. That's my core team. For me as a principal, two of the people I interface with most at my school are my two assistant principals, right? And they interface with so many more people, teams, departments, and different staff members. So I want to sit down and I want to think, how do I strategically want to use that first admin meeting that we have ours on Mondays after school, so that way nothing else can be in competition with it unless there's a fire or a crisis. We have time to sit down anywhere between an hour and an hour and a half just to get busy, think about instruction, think about climate, think about logistics, and also have time for us to connect as adults and as professionals and as leaders of the school. So these are all the things that I do to get ready for the new year, right? What I haven't done that I still need to do is I need to kind of take a look at my goals. Really, we call it our theory of action, and kind of see what I feel like has been happening, what hasn't been happening, and what are we going to do to get there. Of course, I ran around the building and did some cleaning, picking up some stuff, dropping off some stuff, delivering some things, just getting my office cleared out, because I realized also is that, the administrator's office, and I'm sure lots of other people's offices, it just gets filled up with boxes and deliveries and T-shirts and granola bars and all that. And when I realized that if I could get things out of my space into a space that is organized, a supply room, the place that it's supposed to go to, the person is supposed to go to, it also makes me feel better and makes me feel a little more balanced. Normally I would come in and I would erase my whole whiteboard. I usually do that before I go into a break, but I got some things that are carrying over that are not quite done. So I need that up because that really keeps me focused and reminds me of what I need to do. That's about it. That's how I use my time. I challenge you to think, how can you use your time? And if you are trying to be a better balancer and not be at the school putting in all that time, then, think about how can you do some of that at home? How can you do some goal setting? How can you do some planning? How can you do some calendaring? How can you do some writing or some revisiting of your core purpose and your core beliefs to get ready for 2020? Because 2020, it's a new year, and we know what the spring means. The spring is fast, right? We know the work gets harder. We get antsy. Even though we just came off a break, we'll feel that for a while, but we'll get tired pretty quickly, and it'll be time to start looking for next year already, right? Planning your schedule, planning your goals, planning your professional development, and just getting things in motion. So good luck. I hope any of these ideas supported you. If you haven't been following my YouTube page yet, click on it. You can definitely stay updated. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Hit the bell to make sure you don't miss out on any updates. You should be catching a video post or an update of some sort at least once a week. That might be, me sitting in my office sharing some stuff. That might be me looking at a new book review, or might just be me sitting in my Prius. Right? Been having a lot of fun with this series I call Principal in a Prius. Just talking shit, sharing what's on my mind on the way to work or the way home, or it might be in between some meetings. So with that, good luck for 2020. Push hard, push for the children, keep fighting, keep leading for equity, keep fighting for justice, and just keep fighting. Peace.